Welcome back to Closing Time Sports. Today I'm here with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Carson Wentz and him being traded to the Indianapolis Colts. This happened a couple days ago, but due to snow and other factors, I was not able to record. So I'm going to get into the video. I wanted to talk about it earlier, but this is the first chance I'm going to get. But this is the first chance I got, so we're just going to go into it now. So I have pulled up here on Yahoo Sports that the trade details, so let me go through them right now. So the Colts, of course, got Carson Wentz from this deal from the Eagles. The Eagles, in return, get a 2021 third-round pick and a 2022 conditional second-round pick. So, off the first look of that, it looks like they're getting a third-round pick, and I'll show you later. It says right here, it's number 85 overall, which is kind of near the end of the third round. Not a super great third-round pick. It's closer to a fourth, but it is in the third round. And you can find a lot of great players in the third round, but it's not a pick where you're like, oh, wow, they got, a good pick back. It's an okay pick. But then you see the 2022 conditional second round pick. So what does that mean? That's the key to this trade, in my opinion. So the second round pick basically means that it'll be a second round pick in 2022 unless, and I'll go back to this in a second, but it says here, so that second round pick can turn into a first rounder in 2022. So that's why it's conditional. It could be a second, or if things happen, it can be a first. So it will be a first if Carson Wentz plays 75% of the offensive snaps in 2021, and if both of these things happen, then of course they would get the first round pick as well. Or Carson Wentz plays 70% of the Colts offensive snap and the Colts make the playoffs. So basically he's got to play 70% of the snaps either way, but if he plays 70% of the snaps and they don't make the playoffs, then it still stays a second round pick. So this is very possible, as this article says, barring an injury. In his career, in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, he's played over 70% of the snaps each year. So he played 100% in 2016, and then he got injured in that 2018 season when they won the Super Bowl. I believe it was that year. And he only played 66%. But then here in 2020, this last year, he played 72%. So, of course, that was even with Jalen Hurts taking over the starting job. So he still played over 70% of the snaps then, even when getting taken out for multiple games due to Jalen Hurts just taking his job. So I believe this probably will turn into a first round pick, just because I am more optimistic about Carson Wentz and a new system with his old offensive coordinator Frank Reich, who is now the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, like the head coach. I'm optimistic about it. I think he will definitely play 70% of the snap, probably 75% of the snap in 2021, and that's enough for him to. He can miss a couple games and still play 75% of the snaps. He could probably miss 2 games and still play 75% of the snaps. So in my mind, I think he will do both of these. Actually, I think the Colts will make the playoffs, and he'll probably play 75% of the snaps. So I think this will turn into a first round pick. Will this be a high first round pick? It really depends on what the Colts do. So will this be a high first round pick? Probably not. Just because I think the Colts will be good. And that's kind of why they said conditional second round pick. I think because they're like, oh yeah, if he plays well and they make the playoffs, then we'll give you first, because it'll probably be a late first, so it doesn't really matter. Like, it's going to be probably in the 20s. If this turned into a first, it's going to be in the 20s, maybe late 20s. And if not, it turns into a second. So either way, it's going to be, either near the back of the first round or in the middle of the second round. So this pick really, it's give or take 20 spots is what it's going to be, maybe 30, probably 20 spots though in the draft. So it's basically going to be either a late first or second and a third round pick for Carson Wentz. Is this enough? That's the bigger question. So I think for the Eagles, is it enough? Like, did they do good enough with it for Carson Wentz? And my answer is no. I honestly think they could have gotten more for him. Now, he is not highly valued right now because of how bad he played in Philadelphia. He's not highly valued at all right now. Like, this is the best offer I'm guessing that they could get. I mean, they would have sent him other places if they could have gotten more value. They were looking for a first round pick for him before they settled on this. So I just think the market wasn't there. But I think the Eagles definitely could have gotten more. I think they could have probably gotten maybe a second round pick this year and a conditional second round pick. Maybe you move that from a third round pick to a second round pick. Maybe that's more accurate, to get 2 seconds instead of a third and a second. I mean, they got value back, but I don't think it's the value they want, because I think Carson Wentz this next year is going to lead the Colts to probably 11-5, win the AFC South. I think that's how good they will be this year, just because, I mean, look at their talent. Like, Jonathan Taylor emerged last year at the end of the season. Michael Pittman Jr. is one of my favorite young players in the league right now. Phillip Rivers retired, so Carson Wentz can step right in to a great offensive line. Paris Campbell is still there. T.Y. Hilton might not be there anymore, so we'll see about that. Not sure what they're going to do with him. And then their defense. Like, what if this probably would never have a chance of happening, but what if they happen to land J.J. Watt or somebody like that in free agency, and then you have a team of DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, J.J. Watt, and then you have just other big playmakers on defense. I mean, so you have a really, really talented team. They were talented last year. They made the playoff this last year. I forget what they were. I think they might have gone 9-7 or maybe 10-6. I think 10-6 is last year. So with Phillip Rivers going 10-6, I think they could probably go 11-5 or maybe even 12-4 this next year. The Texans are going to be a dumpster fire this next year. Losing J.J. Watt, I think eventually Deshaun Watson will go. And then you have the Jags, who, yeah, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence, but are they going to be good this first year? Like, I don't think they're going to be good this first year yet. I mean, they're on the right track probably when they take Trevor Lawrence, but they're not going to be anything yet. So it's really just the Tennessee Titans they're battling. So I think you get 2 easy wins against the Texans, 2 easy wins against the Jags, and then you just have the Titans. If you split with the Titans, then you're going 5-1 in division, so that's already 5 wins in division. Yeah, they're going to have a more difficult schedule than last year, most likely, but I mean, I think it's an easy 10 wins. I think they can definitely win 11 games. Like, I don't think that's out of the question at all. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see this. I think the Colts won in this trade for sure. I mean, when you get the better asset, I think and in the NBA and really in the NFL, when you get the better player in the trade, you usually win. In this case, you get a player that's already proven. He's proven himself before. In 2017, he had an MVP season. Pretty sure that was 2017, maybe 2016. I can't remember which year that was. I think it was 2017, because then he got injured down the stretch, but he was having an MVP season before that. And then this year, you bring in the Colts bring in Carson Wentz, who, like I said, is very proven already. You have a talented roster already. You still have draft picks that you can work with. You have free agents to go and sign. And honestly, I mean, you're going to have some money in free agency. So, if you go out and get a J.J. Watt or somebody else out there that you can bring in, I mean, I think there's real potential for this team to be really good. On the Eagles side of things, really quick, they're getting the 3rd round pick and possibly a 2nd or 1st. I don't really care about that right now, because I'm going to look here at the Eagles picks because it was on this website, and why not? So they're going to get 3rd round pick this year. So in this year's draft, we're going to get the 6th pick, 37th pick, 70th pick, 85th pick, and then after that, it's 2 5ths, 2 6ths, and a 7th. You could draft a gem there, but I'm just going to go through these first. So at number 6, you can go a lot of different ways. I don't think they would go quarterback. I think they're going to rock with Jalen Hurts. I mean, I'm not a huge believer in Jalen Hurts. I think they probably should take a quarterback if they could there, but I think they're going to still rock with Jalen Hurts. Here, I would either take offensive line to replace like old players that are progressing, and also, I mean, just real, like Jason Peters, he's so old and it's really not good anymore. Like, you got to get a different player there. Their offensive line was a mess also last year. So I think offensive line's in play at number 6. I think receiver definitely is in play at number 6. I mean, there's a chance Devonta Smith falls to 6. You can take Jalen Waddle there, Jamar Chase. So you can take probably any one of those 3 there. Maybe one of them is taken by that point, or you can take Kyle Pitts, who's more of a receiver anyway. You can do both tight end and receiver when you have Dallas Goedert, but Zach Ertz is not going to be there most likely next year. So you can go a lot of different directions there, but I think if I was him, I would probably, if Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell is still on the board, I would take them there and then go receiver in round 2, because there's a ton of receivers. I think Rondale Moore is a good option in the 2nd round. I think he could possibly be there at the beginning of the 2nd round there. So and then you have 2 3rd round picks now. You could probably go defense, you can go corner or somebody else there, because there's going to be players there. Sean Wade might fall to the 3rd round. Who knows? There's always players that fall, and then you're like, why are they falling? And then if the Eagles can take, a guy that falls that has potential, then they might be on the right track. Even though in the past you've seen they don't exactly draft very well. So I don't really trust the Eagles when it comes to drafting, but I think they have some picks in in place now that you can really draft for the future. Because in reality, if you like Jalen Hurts enough and you're like, Carson Wentz wasn't our guy, and you like Jalen Hurts and you think he can progress, then I mean, you have a possible first round pick next year, an extra one. You have the 6th pick this year. You have an early 2nd rounder this year. Like, go ahead and go all in these next 2 years. Draft either receiver, offensive line for your first 2 picks, and then next year, you know, you might take a defensive player, and you can rebuild this team quicker than most people think if Jalen Hurts really is the guy. If he's not the guy, that's a different story. But yeah, so I'm pretty much rambling at this point. But so this is the Carson Wentz trade. I hope you like what you heard, I guess, today. And if you want me to break down any other trades or free agents that are coming this year, let me know in the comments below. And just let me know what else you want to see from me. So I say that's about it. And thanks for watching. Follow all the links down below, and I'll see you guys next time.